today we're going to do a really easy one. We're going to do a Zebra Midge. I do want to do a series of the life stages of the midge, because that's one of the main groups of bugs you're going to find out there on the river. I've got myself a size 16 scud hook, bigger than I would usually use, just so that you can see it a little bit better. The thread I'll be using is just going to be a sheer black 14-aught. And I'm going to be also using a little bit of the brassy size silver wire. And then it's not always in the recipe, but I'm going to go ahead and throw some of this in on at the top as well. It's going to be some peacock eye stub. You can tie it with dubbing or without dubbing, either way. But this is a really straightforward fly. It's really just thread and wire, and you're done. But it is effective, very effective. So we're just going to go ahead and get our thread secured here. Bring that down a little bit around the bend of the hook, and then we'll bring it back up. And we're in business. So now I'm going to just go ahead and cut off that tag end. And we're ready to go. So we're going to grab my silver wire here, and I'm going to try to tie that in on the far side of the hook, closest to the lens, if it will cooperate with me. Even if it doesn't, I'm still going to make it. So there we've got it started, and we'll just take this down around the bend of the hook. And we'll go pretty far down on the bend of this hook. And the other thing we'll do is we'll want to build in a little bit of taper on this as well. Not as significant, not huge. I mean, I'm not trying to get a really bulky fly here. But you can see how far down I'm taking this around the bend of the hook. And then we'll just bring it right back up. And I'm going to do my best to do some touching thread wraps as I go up and back, just to help me build some of that bulk. So to do the taper, like I've shown in my other videos, you're just going to, each pass you're going to go down the bend of the hook, and you're going to go back up. The next trip is going to be shorter, and the trip after that's going to be shorter still. And basically what ends up happening is you're putting a lot more material here than you are back here, and that's I guess that's probably a definition of taper. So you'll notice that I'm not going to go quite as far this time as I did on the last one. Then I'm going to again try to take touching wraps up here to the behind the bead. Now we're going to do that process again. Not going quite as far back as we did last time. And then right back up. And I think maybe a couple more, and we'll be in business. We'll be ready to go. That thread's just jumping around on me a little bit. And sometimes what I'll do when I'm tying like this is I'll turn that's another reason I like the rotating vise, is I can turn and look underneath and look at the other side of the fly pretty easily. See, is any of that silver wire showing through? How's that taper looking? And the taper wasn't quite what I wanted, and so by looking at it in profile like that, I'm able to get myself right back on track. And we're bringing it right back up here behind the bead. Several things you can do at this point. Sometimes I'll put a whip finish in here so I can use my bobbin cradle. In this case I won't, and I'm not going to use the rotary either on my vise. I'm just going to use my hands. And what I'm going to do is just try to get some even spaced wraps going up the body of this just midge pattern here. the Zebra Midge. Yeah. You hear the squeaking of that wire when I'm pulling it as tight as I'm pulling it there. Okay, so now we got it up right into position, right at the back of right behind the bead. We'll just put a couple of wraps in here behind that. Again, and this is wire, so it's not going to come unraveled. That's not a concern of any sort. I'll throw a few thread wraps in on this side as well. And then I'm just going to go ahead and helicopter that off by using friction. I'm just going to pull up while I'm jerking it back and forth like this. And what that does is the back and forth will heat up that metal and make it easier to break, and then it will just break straight off just like that. And that's what we're looking for. It's a nice clean break. Nothing that I have to cut with my scissors, and it's broken off where I want it against the thread. So now I'm just going to grab myself a little bit of, and really, I mean a little bit of a dubbing here, because I'm not trying to build something really big and bushy. So you can hopefully see I just got a tiny little pinch there of the ice dub. Let's see if I can coax that onto my thread here. And we're just going to take, a few wraps right here behind the eye, or behind the bead. I'm good with that. Just gives it a little bit of extra dimension, a little bit of extra shine. I've got my whip finisher out, and we will go ahead and whip finish this. Pull it tight. And from there, I'm just going to grab my scissors, and we will disconnect. I will do a tiny little bit of house cleaning, just because I can see at least one fiber that's going to bother me if I don't clip it off. But not much more than that. So there you go. I mean, really, really simple pattern. Zebra Midge.